Congratulations, you're getting a new puppy from us. And what is the first thing that you need to do when you get your new puppy home? Most important thing I would recommend those first 3 days is going to be to keep your environment and the home as calm and quiet as possible. So, no guests, no taking the puppy to new places. I know it's very exciting, and we want to introduce the puppy to our family, and we want to do all of these exciting things with our brand new puppy. But the thing is that your puppy leaving its breeder or its original home and mom and litter mates is a really stressful process. And you might not see those stress signals as a human because the dog communicates differently and it looks like the puppy is totally fine and happy, but it does actually cause a lot of stress on them. So we want to keep things as calm as possible. So we're going to keep a nice normal routine at home for those first 3 days. You also don't have to begin the training. The only training that I would do the first 3 days is just hand feeding, and I would do the hand feeding by calling its name, or simple commands like sit and come if they're already introduced to those commands. Like if they participated in our puppy boot camp, they absolutely know those commands, so you can definitely rehearse those, just commands that they already know, or practice yes, feed, say their name like Benji, feed. Okay, so you're rewarding them for calling their name and looking at you, or you're rewarding them just after you say yes, so that you're teaching them that that is a marker word or a good word, that they did something good. So very simple the first 3 days. If you want to have a long, happy life with your dog, it's super important to establish rules, boundaries, and limitations. Dogs also thrive on structure and leadership. So you want a leadership that's consistent, fair, and clear. Those are very, very important things. Now, the best way to do this is going to be with a consistent schedule. So we're going to start by understanding that our dogs are going to be fed 2 times a day. Once in the morning, and we prefer to not feed them as soon as you wake up, especially puppies. They'll often demand by like crying and screaming in their crate or in their playpen when they see you in the morning, because they know that that's when they get food. So no feeding when there's excitement, crying, or screaming. We need to make sure that they sit and they're calm. So we don't just wake up and feed them right away. You could wake up, get your coffee, maybe prepare your breakfast first, and then feed the puppy. That's in the morning, and then you're going to feed them again in the evening. I would say around 5 o'clock is a good time. You want to make sure that you're giving the last food and the last water 3 hours before bedtime. Now, most puppy behavior problems happen because we are giving them too much freedom, number one. And number two, we're not giving them enough time alone in their crates to decompress. Puppies get overstimulated and overtired, and when that happens, they start to nip, bite, and it's just because they're overstimulated and they can't communicate that to us. They start misbehaving, they even have tantrums. So we're gonna make sure that the puppies are napping 3 times a day in their crates, 3 times a day, and this is for anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. Most puppies are going to be sleeping between 18 to 20 hours a day, which is actually a lot of sleep. So yes, they do need that hour to 2 hour nap 3 times a day. And if you've exercised them or done a little bit of training and allowed them to play, and all they really need are 30 to 40 minutes of play at this age, you put them right in that crate after going potty and they're going to go to sleep. Now, when we're doing the naps, we need to make sure that the naps are in the crate, especially the first few naps. I know it's very tempting to have the puppy sleep on you, fall asleep on your lap, or cuddle with you, and I really encourage you not to do that, especially at the beginning. They go home from us having been exposed to sleeping in crates by themselves. But if you bring them into your new environment and immediately you're letting them sleep on you and not inside the crate, you're going to put them in a bad habit right away. So the first few times, make sure that they're sleeping in your crate and make sure that you're doing it on a regular basis. Now, if they fall asleep on your lap here and there in the future, maybe after the first few days, at least 3-4 days, that's okay once in a while, but make sure more times they're sleeping in their crate. than sleeping on your lap, because you're going to be doing them a disservice. And when the dog is not supervised and you need them to be sleeping in the crate like overnight and things like that, it's going to become an issue. Now, when it comes to potty training, we have litter box trained the puppies. So make sure that you have the litter box always accessible to the puppies. They're gonna earn their freedom. So the puppy will always be supervised. They're never just free roam around the house, okay? If you cannot be watching them, they need to be in a playpen. They could be in a playpen with a litter box, and they could play in there when you can't be on top of them, but you don't want them in the crate sleeping, because that's just going to be for sleeping time or for very specific moments. But if it's time for them to wake up and play, you could put toys in the whelping box. In the playpen. You could put toys in the playpen with a litter box, and they could kind of run and play in there if you can't be with them at all. So after the first 3 days of the dog settling into your home, you could really start into the training. At least once a day, you should be tether training for at least an hour. Tether training, you're just gonna get a leash and tie one end. So you should be training the dog after the first 3 days. And we're gonna do training in 2 different ways. The first way is gonna be tether training. So you're gonna tie a leash to your belt and then the other end to the dog. And that's tether training. So basically the dog is going to be taught to do nothing and just follow you around. It also allows it so that the dog could kind of walk around the house with you, and you can correct him when he's chewing on something he's not supposed to, like chewing on the couch or something like that, or if he tries to go to the bathroom, you can immediately correct it. So tether training is great. It should be done even more if possible, but about 1 hour per day or 1 hour every other day would be enough at this stage. It's great for the dog to just learn how to settle, do nothing, and follow you around. So be aware of you and your movements and learn how to maneuver around the house with you. This is also great for leash walking after they're 16 weeks old outside. So it's going to be a very similar concept. And you can reward them. Have like the bowl of food next to you and be rewarding them as you're doing things around the house. Reward them for just following you or settling nicely and doing nothing, not chewing and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. That our dogs need to earn every single thing. They're going to be earning their food. They're going to be earning our affection with good behavior. So the hand feeding is a great way that they're earning their food. During tether training, they could be earning their food at least once a day. One of the feedings should be hand fed. So they're doing something and earning that food, whether you're going through some basic commands or teaching them to walk on a leash, sit, stay, come, their name, things like that. You're feeding them bit by bit with the kibble. At this stage, I really encourage everyone to keep their puppies in a playpen. They could have the playpen with the litter box and even a crate inside. You'll use the crates for naps. During the night, I don't encourage you to put the puppy in the crate at night yet. They're too young. Basically, they won't be able to hold it through the night until they're at least 6-7 months old. That's when you could start to try to keep them in a crate. But for now, the litter box is a great option overnight to put them in the playpen with a litter box. Eventually, if you do want them to learn to go potty outside, you can put a litter box outside, or you could just put the pellets outside where you want them to learn to go to the bathroom. Puppies are going to be going to the bathroom at this stage every 20 to 30 minutes. Every time, as soon as they wake up, right after they eat and right after play. So if you make sure that they're going to the bathroom all those times, they shouldn't have mistakes. If they have accidents in the house and you don't correct them the moment that it's happening, that's why they have to be supervised at all times. And if they're not supervised, they need to be in their playpen with their access to their litter box. If they make a mistake, that's on us. I also really encourage getting a copy of the Raising an Empowered Puppy Guide, and it's an extension of the curriculum we use to raise your puppies, and that will really help you continue the training throughout their lives, as well as reading the Go Home Guide.